So warm welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining us today at Moneylife Foundation's Knowledge Center. As you're all aware, we've been doing a lot of sessions on RTI through the RTI Center, and we've been doing that for quite some time. And alternate Wednesdays we have Mr. Gandhi, who's here to counsel people, and other Wednesdays we have special sessions like this. So the main intent behind that is to get the government to be more accountable and to empower citizens and make them understand how the Act works. So today's session is one such session where Vishwas, who is present here, is about to speak on how to go to government offices and inspect files. So the government of Maharashtra had passed the GR, and on that he's going to speak a little bit. So before that, I just wanted to introduce Moneylife Foundation for the ones who are uninitiated. Moneylife Foundation is a non-profit organization which is engaged in spreading financial literacy, consumer advocacy and awareness, and works towards safe and fair market practices through workshops, roundtable meetings, white papers, research, awareness campaigns, grievance redressal and counseling. We take pride in being fiercely independent, non-partisan and always pro-saver. To date, we have conducted more than 435 sessions, seminars and workshops, a lot of which are focused on RTI, financial literacy and consumer awareness, among others. Membership to Moneylife is completely free of cost, and we urge all of you to join our family of 1,15,000 members at the earliest. So over to Vishwas, whom I'll introduce right now. So Vishwas has already done a session for us in the past where he had spoken on how RTI can be used by investigative journalists, and Vishwas is himself an investigative journalist who has extensively used the Right to Information Act. He's a journalist with the Indian Express, and he has broken multiple stories about the various departments of Maharashtra government. He has done a series of reports on the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Memorial Project based on the information that he obtained through the Right to Information applications. He has used the RTI Act to also report on the non-appointment of the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Committee members at the office of Maharashtra in the offices of ministers, including the CM's office as well. This was in the wake of the Me Too movement that had happened a couple of years ago, and subsequently this led to the government forming a committee and appointing members for that. For his work in the field of journalism, he was awarded the State Level Excellence in Journalism Award by the Mantralay Vidhi Mandal and the Vartahar Sangh Mumbai, and the Sajag Nagarik Manch RTI Award in the year 2018 by Sajag Nagarik Manch Pune. This was mainly for his work by using RTI and also on the issues of public interest. So without taking too much of your time, I would like to request Vishwas to start.
All of us use RTI, keep filing RTI applications and all that things, but now today I'm speaking specifically on the RTI and inspection. So RTI inspection, according to me, is the biggest tool to use to get the information as early as possible, and whatever the information we want from a particular public authority or department. Normally when we file RTI applications, it is normally any public authority or any public information officer will 30 days to respond and all that things. If we go through the RTI Act itself, in the section 4, RTI section 4 of 4 clearly mentions of the 17 proactive disclosures and the inspection by allowing inspection to the citizens at any public authorities. There is
Just a request. Just share your story now that Shivaji.
That okay.
It's quite interesting story.
But after he gets some time.
So he can carry on.
Okay.
Let's do this first, then that I have not sure before. It's very interesting, I agree.
Okay.
Monday is very interesting today.
Okay.
That's the topic to be done.
The story is also with RTI.
Today we are here for Monday.
Okay. So we'll speak on the inspection and we'll come to the Shivaji Memorial later on. But I can tell you it's interesting. It will go on interesting things will come out in the months to come. And eventually I am of the personal opinion, that the contract for Shivaji Memorial in the Arabian Sea will have to be cancelled. The government will have to cancel that. That I'm of the opinion. So we'll talk that. So my voice is coming? Acha. Okay.
Slightly louder.
Yeah, sure. So there is already a provision for the RTI inspection in the Act itself. The Section 4 of the RTI Act lays out the 17 proactive disclosures, and Section 4.4 gives the citizens to inspect that. The only thing that has happened is that they have not laid down a particular day or time for that. So what happens, mostly my experience has been that if I go for inspection, they ask me where is the application and all that things. So even if you give the application for inspection itself under that Section 4.4, they will say we will respond to you in 30 days, or we will give you the date, and that might be a 30 days and all that things. So it goes on and on. So this GR specifically that was issued on 26 November 2018 specifically mentions that inspection to be allowed to every citizens on every Monday between 3 and 5. If that is a holiday, then it should be allowed on the next day between same time 3 and 5. So that has reduced the 30 days time limit and brought it to 1 week every week, I mean. So that is the most interesting thing that has happened, but I won't say it is a path breaking thing, a kind of thing, because my point of view is that it is the government who has just fixed the day. Otherwise, inspection has to be allowed to every citizen as per the Act. Now, when we go, I will speak a couple of things about how the inspection, the provisions are there, how it is being misused, and then I will come to why this GR is important and why we need to reuse it or use it more, so that our basic right is being used as a normal thing. In Section 4, there is a provision in Section 4.8. So the provision says that they have given in the proactive disclosure, it is Section 4.8. So they have said a statement at the boards, councils, committees and other bodies consisting of 2 or more persons constituted as its part or for the purpose of its advice, and as to whether meetings of those boards, councils, committees and other bodies are open to the public, or the minutes of such meetings are accessible for the public. According to me, this section is being misused by the public authorities. I will give you an example how this is being misused. There is a Maharashtra Airport Development Company that deals with the airport development and all that things, including Rafale deal that was dealt by the MADC. So very frankly speaking, when the Rafale deal was going on, I was curious to know what happened in Nagpur, how the entire Maharashtra government processed that file. I filed an RTI application with the RTI inspection with the MADC, asking them, I did not mention the topic as such that I want to see this particular file. I just mentioned that I want to inspect all the decision taken by the MADC board of directors between these and this period. To which they replied saying that it is exempted. As per they said we have prepared a RTI manual, it is exempted under 4.8. They quoted this section saying that it is exempted. I was aghast with the reply saying that who are you to decide what is exempted? The government has the powers to decide the exemptions and all that things, and they cannot make their own exemptions. So I made an appeal. I went to the appellate authority. Appellate authority, normally this is an experience, they will go by the words of the PIO, and they did not reply to that. They were keen to know what I'm looking for in that all the meetings of the board of directors. I said I just want to randomly see the things that are there and that were discussed and the decisions were taken. I did not mention, even till today I haven't mentioned. So then I have now gone to the State Information Commissioner challenging their first appellate authority's decision and the PIO's decision, not giving me the minutes of the meetings of the board of directors. So they are conveniently using this to deny me the information, but what they have forgotten is that these are the 17 proactive disclosure that has to be disclosed within 120 days of the RTI Act coming into force, and that should be given to the public to have an access. It has nothing to do whether they can decide whether the board of directors or their minutes of the meetings and all these can be accessible. They cannot decide on that whether that are accessible to the public or not, but they have exceeded their brief according to me and gone to an extent of deciding on their own कि they have exempted that. They even referred me the ONGC and some other petroleum company saying that they have also done this. I said they have done wrong, so you cannot do the wrong. Wrong is wrong. Whether this might not have come to anybody's knowledge who has filed an application there, so it is not a right thing. So this is one of the things that they misuse for denying the information. Now, so when we come to the inspection, though this GR has come in November itself, November 2018, almost a year back, the provision for inspection is there in the RTI Act itself in section 2J, which clearly says that right to information means. So the definition clearly has mentioned that right to information means inspection of work, documents and records, taking notes and extracts, certified copies of documents and materials. It also says that taking certified samples of material. So this provision is there. Only thing, so whenever I file inspection, so I have been filing, so initially in couple of days, I started filing more applications in 2017. Prior to that, I used to file only RTI application, not inspections. So when I see that for a journalist, if I'm going for information and want to do a story on that within a time of that issue is going on, I don't have that much liberty to wait for 30 days. So the thought came to my mind, like, so I need to refer this to the BMC thing. So when I had initially filed an application with the BMC asking for information related to the tree cutting and all that things, they had asked me to come for the inspection. So I took a cue from that and saying that if they ask me to come for an inspection, I can also tell them that I can come for an inspection. So that was as simple as that. So after that, I started filing inspection applications. So when I started, it is not like that they will respond to you immediately. They will take their own time. They will say come tomorrow, day after, and all that things will go on. I feel that whenever we file an RTI inspection, we just need to code that section 2J, which clearly mentions what the right to information means. It clearly mentions the right to information says that the right to inspect the records and documents and everything. It also says that taking notes and extracts and certified copies of the documents that we have inspected. So we just need to sometimes tell them that this is in the Act and we are not saying out of our own thing, because these PIOs are known or prone to feel that we are activists and we will say the things that we feel or we are interpreting it. So we need to make them realize that we are not saying this is the Act says, you can refer the Act, we are quoting the sections of the Act. So whenever you are doing, just quote the section 2J most of the times. That is what it helps, because even if the fellow, the PIO or the clerk, the junior clerk who will read that application, at least he will get to know that we are quoting the provisions and that is not like something we are saying in the air. So that one thing is there. Then apart from that, now if we come to the GR, so inspection and everything is there. So what this GR makes a difference for us? The difference is very much clear, that it has specified the day, like Monday, and the time 3 and 5. Now it is again like a complicated thing that they have kept there. So they have referred, this pattern was implemented in Pune Municipal Corporation when the Mahesh Zagde was the Pune Municipal Commissioner. In 2009 they started this habit there. They allowed every citizen to come and inspect. There nobody has to file an RTI even application saying that I want to inspect it. Okay, you just need to walk in and say that I have come for this. So there is a register that they maintain. You need to enter your name, mobile number or some details, and then you can go for inspection. After that, you just need to give in writing that I have inspected this as per this circular. I just need the certified or Xerox copies of this. So that way, that is very simple and it is a simplified procedure. But government authorities doesn't like the simple work. They always like to complicate the work. When they issued the GR, so they said as per the procedure laid down in RTI Act 2005. What one person has to, they have not categorically said whether that same pattern has to be followed. One person has to go directly to the office or one person has to make an application. They have just said that we are allowing this while following this prescribed, laid down the norms, laid down the procedure in the RTI Act 2005. So using that one line, every authority wants or expects an application, a kind of paper from us saying that give us in writing that you want to inspect us. But so that way it shouldn't, that they shouldn't ask for that, but still I am of the opinion that it is good, because the other good side of this entire GR is that they haven't mentioned how many days prior to Monday that we need to file an RTI application. So for example, I file RTI inspection on Monday, I just go to their office, submit the application, and directly I go to their office on Monday and go for the inspection. So that way throughout the week we can file application on any day. unless and until that particular public authorities has come up with certain other guidelines and regulations saying that we have certain, like we need to assign, like for example, if they are receiving more than 10, 20, 50 applications, then they need to assign people for that inspection of that work. So that GR has kept that provision that the public local authorities can take the decision on allowing that procedure as well. But the problem is that most of these local authorities are not much, they are saying Monday ko karna hai. They are not going into much of the details, and I think the other side is that there is not much of a response from the citizens as well in inspecting the works and records. So what has happened is that normally, so whatever the regional offices in Mumbai, so the interesting part of this GR is that we need to remember it does not apply to Mantralaya. It clearly says that Jilla Staravarun, Nimna Staravar, district level offices and subordinate offices, and then it says that municipal corporations, councils and Jilla Parishad and other such offices, they have clearly kept out the Mantralaya out of this entire GR. So if you are, so we cannot go by that rule to Mantralaya, but still we can insist on that, but it does not apply to Mantralaya. They have categorically, maybe the government might have been anticipated of the fact that multiple people will come to Mantralaya, will inspect the file, and many more things will come out. They might have been frightened of that fact, but as of now they haven't yet applied that. So what I did, so I was also surprised with the fact that why they excluded Mantralaya from that. So I filed an RTI inspection there also. But what happened, they appointed a committee on the implications of allowing it in Mantralaya, and that's why the file is pending with the CM. So it has been almost a year that they haven't given me the file yet, or maybe 8 to 10 months. They are saying that it is with the CM and we need, it hasn't come back. So I think, I don't know what they are doing it. But again, I have filed another application now asking for, because I want to get into that logic why they have excluded it. Was there any thought process behind excluding Mantralaya, or is there any thought process they are thinking about coming up with a new something like that? But the only thing is that, so it gives us a space to go every Monday and inspect these records. So whenever we go, so it is just, we just make sure that we quote section 2, section 4 and go there and say that I want to inspect records. Now whenever we come to the records, so I always insist, whenever anybody files an RTI application, I always insist that if it is go for RTI inspection rather than an application. So it works both way, that you get information early and you get to know everything about that particular topic. So for example, in Shivaji Maharaj Memorial case, initially when I was curious to know how they reduced the cost from 3,826 to 2,500, everyone was not speaking, like the PWD engineers, officials, and everyone was reluctant to speak because they said it is state's important project and we don't have much details. The secretary used to say, then they used to refer me to PWD engineers. PWD engineers say, no, higher ups will speak, they know everything. And this is how the football was going on. The only thing that I did was I filed an RTI inspection. I just mentioned that I want to inspect the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Memorial Development, that project file. So here, how it helps us. When I went to inspect the file, entire file was in front of me. Obviously, it was some 2,000, 3,000 pages file and all that things. But what happens, like, let them keep the files in front of you. After 5-10 minutes, somebody, that officer or somebody will come to you and will ask you what exactly do you want. Or even we might go through the names of the files and we can figure out which file we want to go for. So it gives us, without telling the officer what we are looking for, gives us an access to the file, gives us an access to the information and what we want to brought out from the government offices. So inspection is like without disclosing anything to the public information officer or telling them anything, giving a single % hint to anybody, we can extract as much information as we want, whether it is irregularity, whether it is like to expose their scam or anything, but it helps us to extract that. Sometimes what happens, like it has happened with me a couple of times, even if it is a Monday. So it is not like that they have kept it on Monday. It doesn't mean that they will allow us and like, yeah, welcome, we have a red carpet for you and just come here, sit here and like do the inspection. So this is the RTI inspection is not a primary duty of any government officer. It is an additional work, and it depends much on the officer as well, how much he cares for RTI, how much he cares for transparency, and how much he cares for the citizens and overall their grievances. So in case of one of the application, the PIO was given an additional charge and he was not coming to the office for many weeks. So I had to go to his seniors and get his permission, and he has to make call to someone and get that. So though provision is there, only thing that we can do is that we can keep insisting or keep going to make them or force them to allow us or give us an access to that. Otherwise, so my experience has been that, so for example, I had gone to Yashoda training for RTI on this particular. So I do know a couple of things before going to Yashoda, but I wanted to know a broad line or outline of the entire RTI Act. But sadly, I don't want to, it would like that I'm criticizing them, but sad part was that I was there for the training, but even they are not propagating about the RTI inspections. Even they are not telling us about this particular GR. They are referring to the provisions and they are sticking to the typical academic syllabus about how RTI Act is there and all the things. Though it is a good thing to tell us and inform us about the RTI Act and its provisions, what is more important, I feel, is that they should tell us how meaningful, how fruitfully we can use it in practically. So they did not, even the trainers did not refer it once or twice in their entire session, and I think it is a kind of a GR or something that we need to use it more often than frequently. The other thing, we need to look at the purpose of this, why this GR has been come, and why I don't think it is a path breaking, because the section of inspection is already there. It is us who have not used it over the 12 years and 13 years of the RTI Act. The provision is there since 2005. It is not something like that has come new. Over the 12 years, we have not used it so many times. So the government has to tell their own officers that inspection is already there, the provision is already there, and we need to use it time and again, and to make it a norm. It should be allowed in every offices. So that is the other thing. Whenever we file applications, just mention a name of the file. Don't say a specifics saying that I want this particular document and the other thing. Just say a subject of that particular file and say that I want to inspect it. Many people the PIO and the other people will come to you asking, what do you want to know exactly? Don't tell them that I want to know the entire issue as a whole and not in parts, so that I shouldn't get it wrong or something like that. Whenever we file an application, just go to the office on Monday. Just tell them politely that I have come, so go with this application saying that I have filed this application, I have come for these things. The person might welcome you, the person might ask you to wait, and all that things will happen, but we should go and insist. Sometimes what happens, if I go there, though Monday is a day for inspections, but that fellow might have a meeting somewhere else. The PIO is a public government officer, he might have a meeting somewhere else and he might not be available. So he might tell us that come tomorrow, any day, any time or any day, and will allow us the access. So it, as in when we use it or we go there, it gives us a way rather than, so normally what happens if I file an RTI and if I go there after 30 days, so what happens, we don't have that communication with the PIO. Sometimes we assume that he is deliberately denying it. Sometimes he assumes that I have a vested interest in seeking the information. So it is not very much clear. So the communication makes the RTI work well for anybody, not just journalist or anybody, and it also helps us to, even sometimes this has happened to me in the over last 2 to 3 years, that they themselves will tell you that अरे ये फाइल में क्या है तुम उस फाइल के लिए डालो. It also helps us to the rapport we will have a good rapport with the officer.
Some examples of what happened with you when you gone. Couple of stories.
So this is about, just Arvind just spoke about the Me Too that committee. So I was that Me Too last year that was going on. I had just gone to meet the one of the officer, and I was having a chat with him. And in the course of an interaction, I just asked him what is the status, whether you have received any complaints. I had gone to ask him whether they have received, the CMO and other ministers' offices have received any complaints, and what is their matlab any action has been taken and how on. So in the course of interaction, he says कि नहीं, we don't have committees, so there is no point of coming the complaints and all that. So next day immediately I filed and got it on record. So this is what happens when you, so this officer particularly I know because I had met him twice or thrice before for inspection of the file that was issued by the GAD in particular. So that's why when I went and just had a chat, so he, in that conversation, he told me just about this. So then he was also a little bit frightened of the fact, but he obviously gave me in writing about whatever the things are there. This is what it helps. In other case of the Shivaji Memorial, so there were multiple engineers and secretaries and officers, PWD officers working in that. So when I initially had gone to inspect that file, so they had given me, so initially they were not aware of what I was looking for, and I also didn't know what exactly I was looking for. But in the course of interaction with them, they told me this is what is this in this file, this is what is this in this file, and you should go for this and go for that. So it helps to build the rapport, and it helps us to give a sense of what we should look for what exactly. So this is how it goes about, and in some cases the officers will not entertain you at all.
Meaning what? They told you that the cost, which file to look for the cost reduction?
Yeah, that was what exactly happened. So I will tell you the another thing that I spoke. This after I did couple of stories on the Shivaji Memorial, I was going through environment clearances and all that things. I did the story in October last month only. So I was going through that, and I was curious to know how they have followed the procedure and what was there. So couple of documents I had which showed that they didn't follow the procedure. And when I was having a chat with the officer, so he gave me some information which was not there in the file, and he said the procedure is as such that they have bypassed the procedure. So I was of the fact that what should I do? So I filed an RTI with the MOEF, Ministry of Forest in Delhi. Online RTI, they have a platform. I filed and I just asked for entire file. It was some 1,300 pages. So they sent me the file within 5 days. I got that file. So and what the officer was telling me, it was true. So what they did in that, so the entire project, so the finalization of the location is in the Arabian Sea. That was finalized first in 2005 and then in 2014. The small change in the location in the sea. These people did not get into much of how this was, how one has to come to the conclusion that this site is suitable. And after, so in 2014, what had happened, the BJP ran an election campaign in the name of Shivaji, Chhatrapati Shivaji, in assembly polls. When they came to the power in October 2014, they immediately said that we will go for approvals, getting the approvals from the MOEF in Delhi. In that process, they did not went into much of the deliberation. According to me, that they did not went into much of the deliberations. So what they did, so CM met the environment minister. They said we need to exempt this particular project to construct it in Arabian Sea. So they issued one notification for allowing the memorial in the Arabian Sea. It was in 11th December 2014. One of the conditions of that notification was justify the location in the Arabian Sea. How you are saying this is the best suitable site. And have a weightage matrix, like the various parameters to decide and give a weightage to each parameter why this site is most suitable and not other sites are suitable. So initially they said there are 9 sites. Within 4 days, they told the MCZMA there are 4 sites. And when it came to when it went to the MOEF, then they did not take the cognizance of this MCZMA's recommendation. They referred to the EIA, which was prepared much before even the MOEF considered the proposal. EIA was prepared in November 2014. EIA had considered 3 sites from the Arabian Sea itself, and 4 sites suggested by these PWD included that Khanderi Island, Oyster Rock, and Elephanta Caves. Even these people went on to think that even Elephanta Caves can be a alternative site to build this thing. Despite it being a UNESCO and World Heritage Site, it went on to give. The goof up they made in two parts. One, they had said that the site has to be recommended by the MCZMA, because MCZMA is a state level body. Though the 4 proposals were suggested and recommended, one of the site of that 4 sites was recommended by the MCZMA, MOEF violated its own notification, did not take that MOEF recommendation into consideration. They referred to the EIA, in which 3 sites, all 3 from the Arabian Sea, with some distance of 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer in the Arabian Sea, were considered. So this was in clear violation, because none of these 3 sites, one site was common in all these 9, 4 and 3. One was common, that is the proposed site. But all other sites that MOEF considered 2 different sites that were not considered by MOEF, and MOEF which considered 3 different sites were not considered by MOEF. So that was their own violation of their notification. Second part, how they justified it, they just lied in their justification. For example, the proposed site, according to that justification, said it is 2 kilometers away from Gateway of India to the proposed location. PWD's own traffic study said the distance is 12 kilometers. So there was 5 parameters. One of the parameter was heritage and monuments. So in that they have to give the highest marks. Surprisingly, they gave 0 marks to UNESCO site of Elephanta Caves, and they did not justify that, and neither the MOEF went through it before clearing the project. While they just mentioned it is a UNESCO site, in that marking system, they just gave 0 marks to that. Again, Khanderi Island, which is again one of the historical monument. That justification or selecting that particular site and giving weightage matrix to it was a pre-decided thing according to me, because they planned the Bhumi Pujan of that Shivaji Memorial in 19th February 2015, and they wanted to do it at the hands of Modi. They had been doing that correspondence, so they wanted to get the clearance before that. So all this procedure and exchange of correspondence was done to favor one particular site, keeping aside giving less mark. The biggest joke was that they said, even MCZMA goofed up, they said the highest marks goes to this site, 72, this proposed site. If you do the small calculation of the marks that they are given in various parameters, the calculation goes to 82 and not 72. So even that also, from even small minor issues and mistakes to extent of going even calculating the marks, they did not they did not do well in calculating all these things. So this is how helps in like finding out things. Here how inspection helps or going for a file helps. I had only small hint that there is something in that file, not knowing that there is some discrepancies in this thing. The officer had told me during one of the inspection that there is something they don't do it properly. So one option was that either do the inspection or seek the file. So when I have a complete access to the file, I can go through from first page to last page to find out what exactly has happened, what is the thought process that the government has gone through, and what they have decided about everything. So I came to a conclusion that this is what they have done wrong, this is what they did not think about it, and this is what they thought about it. So this is what the inspection helps to get us a complete overview of any issue or any irregularity that they have.
I just wanted to know that once you find out this information, how do you publish it by press and all that, and whether they will take the corrective action for that or not?
So in this case, what happened, I took a couple of days to go through it. So since the clearance was issued by MOEF, I wrote an email to them stating that I am doing a story on this particularly, and I sought their response on specific issues. but they haven't responded yet. The story was published in first week of October. It went to it appeared in Delhi edition, our Delhi edition as well. Even NGOs and other guys took cognizance of it, but the government has not responded to yet. And here the officials are saying that since it is the MOF who has dealt with the environment clearance, if we receive any instructions from them, we can think of that, or higher ups here in Mantralaya. So that's why they are keeping quiet on that.
It gets delayed.
It gets delayed, yeah. No, now since the memorial is stayed, the work is not going on, so it's still stayed. There is not much work is happening at the ground.
If I go on Monday, I take an application along, pay me 10 rupees, are they bound to give me information?
Yeah. So the GR doesn't say that you should file application prior these many days of Monday. So even if you file an application Monday morning and if you go at around 3 p.m. also, that's fine. They should.
Vishwas ji, may I please ask you one question?
Yeah.
How many applications have you put in so far in RTI so far?
More than 100, 150.
So I've put in 300.
Okay.
It's a record.
Okay.
What's the point? I think they're not-
The purpose is, no. The purpose is a scam. They will not give you the files that you want to see.
Okay.
They will give you a lot of files, dump in a lot of papers in front of you. The way you said 2J, I tried it after I met you. Last time I came for your session, I put 2J and they gave me a lot of files, but not the files I want, because they know what I want. And there is no way of getting the list out.
So normally there is an index that they have, like the kind of files that they maintain on particular subjects. So look for that index. Ask them for the index of that file.
The index has got multiple files in one number. 94 will have multiple files. They show me 6 and not the 7th one.
Other way I will tell you.
No. Can I complete this? The State Information Commissioner banned me initially from all applications.
Okay.
Sumit Malik. He wants to ban me completely from making applications, and he gave me a Supreme Court order that all honest officials cannot take away time and energy to do this.
When did this happen?
This happened last month, but he didn't ban me eventually. He called me back to his chamber and reversed his decision.
Okay.
But the thing is, I know for a fact that there is a serious fraud, and a very, very serious fraud. There are already department inquiries going on in 9 or 11 engineers, and 10 more engineers will be counted. Can he have the power to ban me? Is there any such constitution?
No, he doesn't have. He doesn't have.
So how can he even state that I'm banning you from making applications?
So I think, but he has reversed the.
But first we walked out with that ban, oral ban. There's no such constitutional
No.
method of banning people.
He can't ban anybody. No, I will tell you the other thing. The other, what I do normally. So what happens, so when I go for an inspection, so normally when we say this particular, when I mention this topic that I want to inspect the files of these particular topics. So as you mentioned, there could be multiple files and we might not know which file I'm looking for or which particular file would be. So go for the other way around. For example, if there is any government GR or if there is any order or circular by any authority, just look at it carefully. They do mention the file name, number and all that things in that.
I have the file number, everything.
So whenever we file for inspection, so go for that number. They always refer to, see, any government circular, any paper, whenever it comes out, it has some sort of reference to like how it has come to the conclusion. So they always refer it to the file that they deliberated and that the decision has been taken. For example, when I filed with the MOEF asking for this information, in the environment clearance, they had given the file number like 2015 and this is 22A, some number they had mentioned. So I quoted that file number and mentioned I want to inspect, I want to get that file. Even today also, whenever I do, I mention that file number because it helps both way that I know I'm looking for this file, and second, that fellow doesn't have much work to do in finding out the file. So it helps both way. And if there are, for example, so in this year only, so what I did, I filed one application with, as you mentioned, I will tell you about that. So I filed one application with the Rural Development Department. So they had come up with digital e-seva services in the rural Maharashtra, that they call it Aple Sarkar Seva Kendra. So in that, multiple things were going on. That operators working in that system were protesting. They had told me some of the complaints and issues that they had. So I just thought I need to go through the file file first. So what I did, I figured out all the GRs issued on that particular subject. There were 3 GRs, but the files were 2. So I quoted both the files and I filed an application with them. The concerned officer said he has only 1 file. I need to show him the another GR in which the another file was there. Then he agreed and said the first decision was taken in 2016. The second decision was taken last year. That's why the file was like a part 2 for them, different from the original file. So it happens that there could be multiple files, but we just need to refer to the circular or a GR or any order that is issued by the public authority. So it makes us easier to know that there is 1, 2 or how many files are there. So that will will get an exact file. I mean, that will help us.
Is there a time limit for the inspection of
Yes.
files?
In the we have free of charge. We can do the inspection for 1 hour. After that, 5 rupees for every 15 minutes.
For seeking the inspection of the records, if I go on the Monday, say around the 12 noon, the timing is between 3 to 5, right?
Yeah.
But they might deny and they say, please come on the next Monday or the following Monday or any other day.
No, so normally, see what has happened. So if you go, you just need to submit the application. If you submit it around 11 a.m. in the Monday and just go in the afternoon saying that this is the, so do one thing. Whenever you file an application for inspection, just enclose that GR and highlight that portion saying that Monday between 3 and 5. You just need to look at the GR carefully and need to make an argument, not an argument, but to make our point stronger, saying that it doesn't say when to file an application. It just says that allow the inspection between 3 and 5 by following the laid down procedure under RTI Act. What is the laid down procedure? We can refer to, or we can say to them that there should be an application for inspection that we are filing. It does not, the GR does not say that the application should be 10 days before the inspection or 5 days before the inspection, for 1 day before the inspection. So whenever you are making an application, just enclose the copy of the GR. It is 1-page GR, and just highlight that portion. So they won't have much of a problem, because whenever there is a government GR, these people will listen to that GR.
How we can have GR copy?
I have, I will give to you. It's available on the website as
And
well.
is there any format for making applications, or the same RTI format will be required for inspection?
You can go with the same RTI application or inspection. There is no as such format. Like what I normally do is when I mention that I want to file inspect this in the particulars of information, I just say that keep the entire files ready. I will come at this time, this date, and I specifically mention I want certified copies identified by me during the inspection, after the inspection.
I'm looking for inspection of filing the online compliance report by Housing Society in Mumbai. Since they are filed online, I need to refer to their system, PC. So will this be allowed?
So
See,
So whenever you are looking or going for inspections, do one thing, just figure out, go through that section 4. There are proactive disclosures. There just look for what are the records that they are maintaining. Okay. So my point is that if I am making an application, I will make sure that I know much of your office, how it works. Okay. So I will try to get to know through that section 4 of the proactive disclosures, though it might be 2 years, 5 years old, but just go through it, figure out what the information that they have. For example, if there is a compiled report of all the housing societies and their compliance, then you can ask for that specifically. So there could be multiple, so if one department has multiple desks, so you can go through that and figure out what exactly, whether our information could be available in one of that file. Just figure out that first before filing, because having an argument with the PIO wouldn't work.
okay.
It is just that the information is there. No information, it is not like that the information won't be there. But only thing, we need to figure out where the information would be available, and then we need to go for that particular file or for that particular department. So that you might try to look for that, rather than filing for online. You might look for departments and whether they maintain such compliance record or something, that then you can go for that.
No, in my case, the question is that housing society need to file the certain reports by the 31st October or 30th September or particular date. If they don't file the report, so there is a failure and the committee needs to can be disqualified. I think I need to check up the system only to find out.
I mean,
They should give me access to their computer, or other they can help me through their assistant.
No. So you can directly ask them about whether this society has filed the application or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is no
Thank you.
need of an inspection. So here the other point is that, see, so we are now only referring to the inspection of files and records. The
Okay,
inspection of emails and computers is also there.
Okay.
But again, as I mentioned initially, that we are not so much insistence, or we don't use inspection very often. So the authorities normally what they do, they don't allow us to go give access to their computers.
Okay.
So it will take some time for them, because in case of Shivaji Memorial, one of the secretary had written to the France company saying that they are not doing, or they are not doing the work up to the mark. So I had filed an application asking for that particular email, but they were hesitant to share that. So finally what they did was they shared the text of that email to me. So access to the computer, see, we need to keep filing inspections to make it a norm. We need to make the government authorities and officers realize, or make them forced to realize, that it is a norm that every Monday or every time whenever we come for the inspection, give us an access to that. So we need to file the applications, that much applications to do that. So I think we haven't come to that day or come to that level where the information in the electronic format is given for inspection. The information in the format available is given to us, but not the inspection that they give to us. So I think that will take some time from the authorities.
Thank you.
One more thing you could try is you can take an appointment for Mr. Schanberg, who comes on Tuesdays. He specializes in cooperative housing societies. So you can take an appointment for him and get your query resolved there also.
Thank you so much for sharing your valuable time and experience. I had a couple of questions. The court fee stamp, which is normally that has to be affixed on the typical application, does that apply here also when you go for inspections?
So when they have mentioned in the GR itself that by following the let down procedure of RTI Act 2005, so it implies, for me at least it implies, so we can take that way, that it implies that it should have a 10 rupee stamp. Otherwise what happens, so I will tell you the other example. So when I was going through this Yashada ka RTI training, so they had given us an assignment, and assignment was that I need to go to one state authority and one central public authority, and we were asked to go to conduct the inspection of that files and records that they have maintained. You will be surprised to know, or you may not be surprised to know, none of the authorities allowed me to do the inspection. I had to tell them finally that I'm a journalist. Then they allowed. Though normally the experience is that they should allow, or it is like they are bound to allow that. But I had to run from I had to, in the railways they don't allow us. Then I went to one of the labor department in Mantralaya. They didn't allow at all. They said it is inspection is there, but we can't allow generally. So I told them clearly that this is training session and everything. So they didn't allow. Then finally I had to fight with them. So some of the guys I know, that's why they allowed me to do that. So it would be right to have a 10 rupee stamp on that, because these officers have their feeling is that if the stamp is there, then it is RTI application. If stamp is not there, they don't consider it as an RTI application. So that's the basic now has been like.
Yeah, my second question is, you said it helps to ask them to index it.
So normally
could you, if time permits, take up a particular case study of a application which you have done, and what exactly did you ask in the indexing request?
No, so what happens, the section 4 clearly mentions that whenever anybody comes for inspection, the file should have an indexed manner. What is an index? Basically, it gives us a list. What are the divisions in that file? What are the parts of information that contains? So, for example, I will give you an example about a Mantralaya file. So, there are two parts in each file. One is the noting section where the ministers and secretaries write. Other section is the correspondence section. So we just need to, so whenever I say that keep it in indexed manner, so they have to give me the file with the both parts. They just cannot say I won't share the noting portion with you and I will just share the correspondence portion with you. So when I say that indexed portion, it is like that only.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I have two questions. One is post-inspection of the records or the files. Do we need to prepare any report and take signature of that concerned authority that we have done this inspection?
Yeah, so normally when I do the inspection, I note down. So during the course of inspection, what I do is that I note down the pages or files that I want. After completion of the inspection, I just write that down and I just tell them, give an application saying that I have inspected these files. Of that, I need these pages of the file, Xerox copies of these files. I submit it to whatever the work that they have, and I submit an application to them. So they normally within 2-3 days they will respond to you. In some cases, what will happen is that they might not ask you. You have to just tell them orally, and then they will issue a letter saying that you have inspected. So other thing that they do behind your RTI application, they will ask you to write that I have done the inspection today. I need pages of this file 1 to 20. Give me the Xerox copies. I am ready to pay whatever the fee is there. So they will ask you to write something, because in government what happens, without a page nothing happens, nothing moves. So they will ask you to write down something, so that they will say we have not given information on our own. Since you asked for information, we are giving it to you. So that's why they will ask you or insist for that. So whenever you are done with the inspection, you can immediately give it to them in writing. Writing is like only way to keep a check on them.
Okay, my second question is, in spite of giving advance request, if the required information is not provided, or that officer is are deliberately avoiding giving that information, in that case what kind of option we have or what action we should take?
So normally if you are referring to a specific file, I don't think they will try to deliberately deny it. Either there could be a possibility, for example, like I sought the file about this inspection only and they said it is with the CM office. Such cases might happen, but only thing what we can do is that we can follow up next Monday, or we can, if they are denying then they will have to give it to you in writing, saying that this particular file is not available with us, or we cannot give you this file, citing 8 section or 9 section, whatever is there. So they will have to reject your application. Though it is an inspection, for them it is an application only. So they will reject your application. It won't be like that they won't give you the information. Based on that, even you can go for an appeal based on that.
So we need to go for second appeal in that
First
appeal in that case. Okay, thank you.
सर मेरे को कुछ पूछना है, जैसे आरटीआई में जो गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट रहते हैं, हेलो, तो वहाँ पे अगर कोई डिपार्टमेंटली कुछ इंक्वायरी करता है, तो जो अधिकारी रहते हैं तो वो ऐसा उनका धमकी देते हैं कि आप जो हमने किया है उसको आरटीआई में वो उसको शो नहीं करते हैं, मतलब दिखाते भी हैं और ऊपर से धमकाते भी हैं. तो उस कंडीशन में क्या किया जा सकता है उन अधिकारियों के ऊपर?
वो दिखाते हैं धमकाते, मतलब मैं समझा नहीं.
उन्होंने कुछ फाइलों में गड़बड़ किया हुआ है,
हाँ,
तो नीचे का एम्प्लॉई उन्हीं के डिपार्टमेंट का कुछ आरटीआई डालता है,
हाँ,
और उसमें गड़बड़ मिलती है.
ओके.
तो उनसे वो कहते हैं कि इसका क्या है, तो वो बोलते हैं नहीं, इसको आप हाईलाइट नहीं करेंगे, ऊपर भी ग्रीवेंस में नहीं जाएंगे, क्योंकि कमेटी में हमारे ही मेंबर बैठेंगे और आपको फिर हम काफ़ी टॉर्चर करेंगे. तो वो व्यक्ति कैसे उसको मतलब सामने वालों को एक्सपोज कर सकता है अपने अधिकारियों को?
See, if you look at any government file anywhere, whether it is local body or any government office or mantralaya, you will find irregularities in all these files. There are bound to be some irregularities that one can find. If there is an irregularity, then blackmailing can't be like a thing to go. Either you have to complain against him or he will have to. There can't be the other way around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think one should make the point that the RTI Act was meant for citizens.
Yeah.
But more than, while government officers, when they're sitting as information officers, are reluctant to give information, nearly 50% of RTI applications are filed by government officials to know things like their promotions, transfers, and that was never what the RTI Act was supposed to be. It was meant for us.
Yeah.
And so I think these situations happen only in government offices when they're trying trying to find things against seniors or juniors. And I think the government has a whole set of rules to deal with this.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be done through RTI.
Yeah.
Also, they can go to the Vigilance Commission and file a complaint if somebody is, threatening them. That option is always open.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, so what I conclude from what you're saying is that while this facility is there, because not enough people are using it, it's forgotten, it has to be, so basically we need more people filing RTI, right? And the second thing that I understand is that you need to do a lot of homework before you start going for inspection and demanding things if you want to get very clear information. One more last thing in terms of case study. You have very interesting findings on the Shivaji statue and obviously how records are fudged by the Ministry of Environment. Did you do anything similar for RA?
No, not yet.
Okay. No. Any others where you found this kind of fudging?
Not fudging, but like so in this I was talking about this rural development, so there something is going on. So in that Aple Seva Sarkar Kendra, there is a provision of, so they have come up with a data operator at a village level. One data operator is appointed in the Gram Panchayat, and 12,000 per month is to be given to the data operator, and some money goes to the company. So the division is 6,000 plus 6,000. 6,000 to the company, 6,000 to the data operator. So the money that goes to the company, one of the component is 2,700 for providing pages and cartridges. Some printer, something like that. So every month, some of my friends are data operators in the villages. So when I was speaking to them, they say we don't get it monthly, but we do pay them. The Gram Panchayat pays them money monthly. So now I have gotten that file, I have gone through it. Only thing I need to figure out, as you are saying, fudging of the records, I'm just going to find out about how the Jilla Parishad has paid them money, whether they have maintained any record for paying against that thing, or they have randomly paid, or how. But as far as my information is that they have fudged therein as well. So 2,700 per Gram Panchayat in 29,000 Gram Panchayats. It goes into crores. So I think they do this fudging of information or these records. I think it is almost in other departments as well. So I'm just whichever the things that I am getting to know, I'm just going for that only.
I have one more question. So you're gonna have to wait because there are. I'll wait. Just whenever you're ready, I'm good.
Can I?
Then you can start.
Sure.
So my question is a bit off the specific topic we are talking about, like the Monday inspections, but it is regarding the section 24, which mentions certain organizations under the second schedule, that these organizations are exempted, and there are certain organizations pertaining to national security and intelligence. So we found out, like it came to our notice while going through the RTI, that there are certain organizations which have been listed by the state governments as the organizations which don't come under the purview of RTI. Like, I can't file for them because they hold information about national security. So there is an organization in Kerala which is a government body, obviously, about regarding anti-corruption. But it is also mentioned in section 24 that these organizations are exempt as long as they don't contain, as long as the issue is in regards with corruption and human rights violation. So if I am allegating corruption, then these organizations are also answerable. So how can a state government straight away, list an anti-corruption organization as exempted? Is there no way we can check on that, or how do you justify? Is there a justification?
It is a government decision. It is arbitrary. Government feels the need, then they will do it. So in 2014 or 15, one of the organization, Delhi-based organization, had filed an application in Ministry of Home Affairs. They had asked them ki monthly how many phone calls you are intercepting, and they had given answer. The fellow has given answer 7,000 to 9,000. So here in Maharashtra, what I did, so I just went to the section 24, the CID is exempted. SID, State Intelligence Department. But so using the same pattern of that organization, I filed application with the Home Department of Maharashtra. And I asked the same questions, how much monthly phone calls are intercepted and all that things, but they did not respond. That fellow clearly said that this information or this department is exempted and we will not give. So if it is exempted, then we can't do much. It is like, so again I would insist that we, as much as information we are using, RTIs we are using and inspection we are going through, and the more these things will come out, then see, the whole point of even this RTI inspection or RTI Act as such is that we need to use the existing things more, so that we can then force the government to open up other such organizations. Since we are not using this much, it is sad that the government has to come up with such a GR 12 years after that. It is not something path-breaking the government has done, according to me. It is just that government has made us realize that this is your right and come on Monday. Rather than that, we should have been doing that, and we should have been made the officers to realize that this is our right and we can come on any day. We can come and inspect the records on any day, not just between 3 and 5 on Monday. From 11 to 5, whichever day, whichever time is possible, or the government, these authorities, we should have been forced them to come up with other alternatives of having an inspection every day, not just like Monday. So it is, I think we need to use the existing, whatever the sections and clauses are there more often, and then this will force the government authorities to come up about other authorities, or there will be more pressure on others as exemptions. Otherwise, this will go on like this.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I recently filed an RTI because I found that after the rains, during the rains, whatever silt was being collected from the gutters were being accumulated outside but not being taken away by the contractor. So it was being allowed to go back into the drains. So I went and asked at the BMC office who is the contractor in charge of collecting the silt. So he kept asking me why I want that. So I had to file an RTI. And now in the reply, they told me, please come for inspection of files. Now, what do I do? As in, I walk into the BMC office with the letter. What questions can I ask them so that my search is focused on getting the contractor's name?
No, I think that's very much easier. Just go there and ask him to show the particular file pertaining to that nala or whichever the area is. You will get to know the name of the contractor immediately.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, great.
There won't be much of a problem.
Great.
If you are looking for something else, like for example day-to-day generation of the silt and everything, then it will be little more complicated. But if you want to just know the name of the contractor and other details, whenever they pass an order or give a work to the contractor, they have to go through the tendering process and everything. So that tender file will be there. So you can go there and ask him for a tender file or work order of that particular work related to that area. He will be able to give that.
Thank you.
What are the Xerox charges for the documents, and is scanning permitted by the CAM scanner?
No.
Thank you.
No. In some cases, the PIO, if you know it, he will allow to, even there is a provision in 2012, the Maharashtra government has come out with a notification saying that we can take a note. We can take notes while inspecting, note down the things. But since we are not using it, many of the times they don't seem to be happy with the fact that, and they don't allow us to use that. So they don't allow mobile photos, and they say that we will give it to you in Xerox and all that things. Even notes they don't allow through pencil.
Sir, I want to ask question. If we want to go for inspection, the files are not indexed and the page numbers are not given, and they deliberately, suppose if they remove the pages which are in which there are discrepancies, then what can we do?
So see, numbers they are bound to give to every page. So whenever, so this has happened, like I mentioned in Shivaji Memorial case also, when I was going through the pages, I found some communication which was not there in that file. So just go through the file completely, you will get to know whether there are any other links. Then you can file with maybe the portion, or it might happen that the authority might not give you deliberately. It is quite possible. But only thing that the same information, just look for whether the same information could be available with another public authority. For example, in Shivaji Memorial environmental clearance case, when I was going through it, then since the environment clearance was granted by MOF, I just went there. Though the information was not here, then it was there. I mean, so this way you can, when you go through the file, just look for whether there is any communication or correspondence with any other authority, higher ups and all that things, and you can look for that, these things. You will get there then.
And it is, should we go for inspection of those unindexed which are not indexed?
So you can always tell the officer that this is not indexed and please have it indexed, or in your original application mention that kindly keep all the files and records indexed in an indexed manner ready for the inspection, and insist that this is not indexed. I want to know how the file has originated, where it has moved from which to which period and all that things. Tell him that. So he should ideally help you out. In most cases they will do, in some cases they won't.
And can we take photographs of any documents?
No, they won't. In most of the cases they won't allow you.
Okay, thank you.
One of the big problems in most urban areas is encroachments.
Yeah.
And has the RTI been effectively used to stop these encroachments? An auxiliary question to this is that by the time you do all these things and go for inspection or whatever, the encroachment already takes place. And they say, the authorities will tell you that it is not all illegal, we are going to demolish it. So don't worry, but nothing happens, and it gets regularized. So can RTI be used in such a way to stop the encroachment happening first, and then everything else follows? Just has it been done, and can it be done?
So here the key question: we use RTI for the information that is available. Why would encroachment? Do you think that encroachment will be mentioned in any government record? So if it is not mentioned, then we won't be able to do anything. In fact, RTI is in a way a act of Xerox copies. Whatever is in the government files, we will get that, nothing else.
Can I add to that answer? So I would suggest that you should get on to Twitter, okay, because the BMC has come on Twitter. So not only has my BMC come on Twitter, but every single ward is on Twitter. And what is happening is that if you take photographs and you publish it there with the BMC name and the specific ward, in I think at least 40 to 50% of the cases, not only is action taken, but within 24 to 36 hours, they're posting back with the action taken. So for instance, if there's brazen encroachment, which you're seeing, or even, those kataras on the road, and I have done a lot of these, and there are replies. What is also interesting is that the municipal commissioner himself takes, I think once a week or twice a week, he calls the team and he looks at some of the cases. So in one particular case, when I had been going on and on with something, I actually got a call. Of course, it's another matter that I know the municipal commissioner, but I got a call in the evening to say, Srita, what exactly is it that you're getting so hassled about? Because these guys don't seem to understand the issue. And I explained to them, it was about water tankers being parked on our roads illegally, when there is a 10,000 rupee fine for parking over there. And believe it or not, from that day, it has completely stopped. So I've done it very effectively, and forget about me, I've seen a whole bunch of people doing it, and the responses are posted with photographs. It includes illegally parked vehicles, it includes things like planters, illegal construction, all kinds of things.
With the office of the suburban collector, I went for the Lok Sabha proceedings. After hearing, I filed some RTI, and I got the funny reply, okay, we don't give the reply to the letter, you have to come for inspection. Is it so?
If the information is voluminous, they can quote.
So simple, I was asked for the minutes of the meeting only.
So sometimes they do that, but then it is their like kind of a thing. They say that they might say that it is voluminous, so you can come for inspection. Otherwise, they don't. Ideally, they shouldn't ask you for inspection. If you are asking for,
is this as per the provision of the law act, or they are doing some arbitrarily?
See, there are two things. If you ask for a minutes of the meeting, ideally they should provide you. Otherwise, you can go for an appeal.
I told them I require the copy of the letter order issued to the XYZ department of the government. Right? Simple. It was only 4 lines. They say refuse. You have to come here to inspect the file.
So they might want to know why do you want that.
I made the application under Lok Sahitin. I was given hearing.
So that fellow might not be aware of that fact.
I made the PI. बोलता हमारे यहाँ ऐसा ही होता है पहले से ही.
अच्छा. Ideally, they should give you. Otherwise, you can go in appeal.
Okay.
Yeah, Suchita, I have come earlier also and you insisted that we should tweet. And I have tweeted a number of times the same complaint. And on the same complaint in the PG I have gone. And still those issues are unresolved. And I think I tweeted to you also that my complaints are not resolved yet. About footpaths, about roads, about gardens.
I mean, what can I say? I see responses over
so
there.
It makes a difference.
And it's no, I don't think it is me alone because I see other responses.
I even tweeted
anyway, let's not argue about this. I know that it happens.
I tweeted to the ward officer saying that it depends on who's complaining, looks like it.
I'm not so sure because I see all kinds of people's complaints having been answered.
I did that. I can show you.
You can be negative or you can be positive. You can follow and you can look at it.
My number of repeated complaints have still been unresolved.
Let's go on with this. We can discuss separately.
Yeah.
Are the courts included in So, but can you just ask your question again so that doesn't mean
Courts, the civil courts and criminal courts, all are included.
All are included. But they have a different procedure for applications also. They have their own application. So you have to follow their applications, not the ones that are there normally that we use.
But it will be again the 10 rupees.
10 rupees, but here and there some clauses changes there. Otherwise nothing.
Thank you.
मैं एक पूछना था हमारा सोसाइटी का
माइक अपने पास रखिए ना सर.
सोसाइटी का फाइल था हमारा माड़ा में, इसीलिए आरटीआई डालने के बाद में उन लोगों ने मुझे डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं दिया, बाद में अपील करना पड़ा. उसने लिखा कि वो फाइल मेरे पास नहीं है, नज़दीक जगह पे नहीं है, बाद में आपको दे दिया जाएगा. तभी वो एक्चुअली मैं बोला उसका रिकॉर्ड दे दो आपके पास से कभी गया क्या. उसके बाद में वो अपील डाल दिया मैंने. अपील में उसने दिया लेकिन उसमें स्टैंपिंग नहीं दिया मुझे. और जो आप बोले ना कि एक सपोर्टेबल नोटिंग रहता है, वो नोटिंग बोला नहीं दे सकता है. और दूसरा बात क्या, वो लोग का बोला कि आरटीआई एक ही बार में एक फाइल के लिए एक ही बार में डाल सकता है. ऐसा है क्या?
नहीं, this is wrong. You can file RTI on the same file multiple times. There is nothing like that. And noting and all that has to be given. If he is not
देना
पड़ेगा. वो अगर नहीं दे रहा है तो उसको बोलो क्यों नहीं दे रहा है, वो लिख के दे दो.
राइटिंग में उसको वापस एप्लीकेशन दे दो उसको.
नहीं, if he अगर वो दे नहीं रहा है तो अपील करो कि उसने इनकम्प्लीट इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया बोल के.
उसको दिया, मैं इन्फॉर्मेशन का दिया कि एक्चुअली उसने जो मुझे आरटीआई देने के बाद एप्लीकेशन देने के बाद में उसमें टाइम पीरियड नहीं दिया, खाली अपने लिखा कि नज़दीक जगह पे नहीं है, आपको दे नहीं सकता है. तो उसके बाद में नहीं दिया करके मैं अपील डालने के बाद में उसको 6 रीज़न दिया कि आपने टाइम लिमिट नहीं दिया, किसको एप्लीकेशन करने का है वो लिमिट नहीं बताया नहीं. तो मुझे धमकी दे रहे कि आपसे 2 बार नहीं कर सकते एप्लीकेशन. बाद में नोटिंग का तो दिया ही नहीं, बाद में स्टैंपिंग भी नहीं दिया है अभी तक. मुझे
नोटिंग नहीं दिया तो सेकंड अपील कर दो, नोटिंग दे देगा.
हाँ उसका उसमें सब पेजेस रहेगा. और उसमें भी पेजेस गायब रहेगा तो क्या कर सकते हैं?
नहीं, पेजेस गायब रखेगा तो एक व्हाट वी कैन नॉर्मली डू, उसको बोल सकते हैं कि ये महाराष्ट्र पब्लिक रिकॉर्ड्स एक्ट जो है उसके तहत आप लिख के दे दो कि पहले उसको पूछो कि लिख के दे दो कि गायब है बोल के. वो लिख के देता है तो वी कैन
बोल के नहीं, राइटिंग में देना पड़ेगा क्योंकि वो जरा थोड़ा मिस गाइड करता है. वो ऑफिस में रिकॉर्डिंग किया है सब उसका.
तो उसको बोलो लिख के दे दो कि ये डॉक्यूमेंट्स मिसिंग है बोल के.
है ना।
हाँ, तो
क्योंकि वो डॉक्यूमेंट हिलना ही नहीं मांगते थे जगह से, क्योंकि उसमें एक ड्यूज था गवर्नमेंट को, उसको पैसा भरने का था सोसाइटी हमारा, एक 20-1 लाख के रुपए। वो पेज ही गायब करके वो फाइल घुमा दिया उसने।
अच्छा, तो वो अगर गायब है तो उसको बोलो कि मिसिंग है बोल के लिख के दे दो, देन वी कैन से दैट कि महाराष्ट्र पब्लिक रिकॉर्ड्स एक्ट के तहत उसके खिलाफ कंप्लेंट कर सकते हैं। जो कस्टोडियन होता है फाइल का, उसने फाइल मेंटेन करना चाहिए, उसमें से कुछ मिस होता मतलब गायब होता है तो उसके ऊपर जिम्मेदारी आ जाती है।
लेकिन वो मैं कैसे बोल सकता हूँ कि ये उसमें फाइल गायब है?
तो आपको कैसे पता वो लेटर गायब है?
थोड़ा लंबा डिटेल रहेगा आई गेस, तो कैन यू टेक इट अ लिटिल ऑफलाइन, बिकॉज और भी लोगों के 2-3 क्वेश्चंस है। या वन इज आप इनसे भी ऑफलाइन पूछ सकते हैं, एंड आप वो शानबाग सर जो ट्यूसडे को आते हैं कोऑपरेटिव हाउसिंग सोसाइटी का स्पेसिफिकली है, तो आप उनसे भी पूछिए, तो उनके पास भी सॉल्यूशंस और आ सकते हैं। सो माय सजेशन इज जस्ट टेक इट ऑफलाइन बिकॉज और है क्वेश्चन।
Sir, I wanted to ask a slightly cross question. Is it possible to file these RTI requirements anonymously? Because when a person goes and asks for RTI information, he's exposing himself. And obviously we don't have bodyguards following us or everywhere. It could be a very sensitive piece of information, and all the people involved may not be very civil and could be violent types also. So is it possible to use the RTI without giving your name? First of all, did they ask for all the identity and details and PAN card and whatever? I'm not aware of that. So can you just elaborate on that?
I think they don't ask you for PAN card or Aadhaar card, something like that. But we need to give our name and addresses for correspondence. That is required. Anonymously, I don't think it allows us. The Act allows us to file anonymously. But I think any public authority shouldn't ask you any Xerox copy of any identification.
Okay, but the name etc. is compulsory.
Compulsory.
Okay.
I think there's somebody who files for people, right? There's an NGO or a group which apparently, just Google it, because I do remember they probably charge you a small fee to do that for you, but they file on your behalf. So I know there's an organization like that.
It is for complaints or RTI?
RTI.
Okay.
And any other complaints also?
No. So, no. About the complaints, recently the government has come out with another GR saying that every person has to file his own complaint. No other NGO can file the complaint. I don't know what is the logic that they have used, but they have come out with this.
No, even this organization, they file in the name of the individual office bearer, not in the name of the organization.
Oh, acha.
Complaint in the section 18.
सर
No, this is general complaints.
मेरे क्वेश्चन है, जब इंस्पेक्शन करते हैं किसी भी डॉक्यूमेंट का, तो उस टाइम पे जो फाइलें दिखाते हैं, तो उस टाइम पे क्या वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग की जा सकती है?
हम या वो?
हम लोग जो जिसने RTI डाला है, क्या उसके पास राइट है कि वो वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग करे, कि उस टाइम पे जो भी वो लोग बोलते हैं या कुछ भी करते हैं वो सब कुछ रिकॉर्ड पे आए, जो वायलेशन करते हैं, जो RTI जिसने डाला उसको डराते हैं? तो ऐसा कुछ है गवर्नमेंट के पास जो RTI इंस्पेक्शन करता है, तो ऐसा कुछ है उसके पास राइट?
There is no such provision for that.
If we record secretly, what do you?
I mean, provision है नहीं. We can do it secretly, but there is no such legal provision for that to support it.
You do it to embarrass them on social media or something. Because even if you record it, there's nothing you can do with it.
Do it
legally.
You had a question that you want to ask?
I'll just show you the papers. What if the... Sorry. I'll just show you the papers after the meeting. What if the PIO makes a mockery of the entire RTI process and the Act itself, and the organization takes a mockery of the Public Records Act, Maharashtra Public Records Act, when Chief Engineer says documents are not in existence and everything is a mockery, what happens then? And the complete evidence is there to the head of the organization, which is now headed by the CM himself. And they are the, in spite of transparency promised, I will show you the complete opaqueness from 4 years of Ratnakar Gaikwad's order, 4.5 years now for a senior citizen, no information. Because if the PIO provides the information, he will go to jail. And he is purposely kept as a PIO because let him burn in his own hell. And all the other guys know. What happens then? Go public in the media?
Only thing we can do is that if he says the file is not in existence, we can go for like to the police or authorities saying that file.
We can go or they have to go.
So my request is just let him to finish that once because he's...
No, I'm just clarifying that.
No, we have to go because we are the one who are seeking the information. And they are, so first thing we can do is we can file a complaint with his HOD, head of the department, saying that this file is not available. This is what the response he has given. Please fix the responsibility under this act and please take an action. Wait for some more days. If he doesn't do, then we can go to the police. Normally in such cases what happens, the police register the case. Recent, I think 4, 5, 6 years back, some of the files from Bandra and Andheri offices were missing. So BMC had filed the cases with the police officials. So you can take it up with HOD immediately, then you can take it up with the police officials.
I've taken up with I've taken up with the Metropolitan Commissioner himself and no action whatsoever.
Sir, I think the problem is he's already given you a lot of solutions, but the problem is a little beyond that. So I think he can only give you the legal framework of that.
I'm going in legal framework only.
Yeah, so I get your concern also, but unfortunately, so I think we've come to the end. Unfortunately, we don't have more time than this. We've also got to respect the fact that he has to go back. So,
no, I just want to make a point that, like him, all of us know we live in an imperfect country, and I would really strongly urge you, like the lady out there who said things don't work. I mean, she's walked away, but I would say please try the RTI Act, okay? Please also don't worry about being threatened. All of us are in the public domain. We do things in our own names. Nobody has beaten us up as yet. Have you got beaten or threatened?
Not at all.
So nor have I, and I've been in journalism for a really long time. So there's also no point in complaining. Yes, it will not work in 100% of the cases, but it's a brilliant act. It works at least in 50%, which, given the state of affairs in our country, where everything is in shambles, I think the RTI Act is a big boon. Please use it. Please encourage people to use it, and don't get a bucket of ice water and use every public forum to say it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It works. If it didn't work, we would not be here Wednesday after Wednesday talking about the RTI Act. So please use it. I think take a message from him. He says not enough people are doing public inspections. So for heaven's sake, go and do it. It may work in 4 out of 10 cases, but use it.
I'll just say one last one.
So I'm really going to have to So I'm going to have to request.
About him only.
Just one last point. When I came to you last time, you said make additional application to other departments. I did that. And today I'm in a position of success because that helped me. And I have built up the entire story and the entire picture on that one suggestion I attended last time. Out of my so many hundreds of applications, now I have the full story and I don't know what they are going to do. They have no answers. But that one suggestion of yours was a godsend for me that I attended your lecture.
Fantastic. So on that high note, let's give him a big hand. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Vishwas, for that, and thank you for taking out time on a working day, nonetheless. So I think thanks a lot for that.
Yeah.
And thank you for attending.
I'm sorry I